Hello, everybody. It is Blaze from Blazing Flame Studios back again. Today we are going to be doing some artifact farming. If you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen some pretty decent pieces. We're gonna hope to get some good ones today to level up our battle packs. How's everybody enjoying the Lantern Rite? 18 Mystic Instrumental. Guess I'll grab this one right here. And then we will be heading over to the Obsidian Codex domain. We'll be working on getting things for Netland characters. Alrighty. Yeah, this deal will work. Time to be quick and efficient.
Neutralize! Let the mountain's veins boil! Time to shine! Light up the blazing sun!
Guess number one. Not great. Not a great start.
Extract! Bring it! Wrath from the sky! Incinerate!
Number two. Nothing here.
Neutralize! Hear the echoes of the valley! Rise with the sun! Not bad. Light up the blazing sun!
Hope everybody's been enjoying the stream so far. Been trying to do as much of a variety as I can think of. If you guys have recommendations, feel free to put them in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the VOD.
Extract! Let the world come alive!
Of what you'd like to see.
Burn it down! Wrath from the sky! Switching gears.
The gears have been switched. One condensed to go.
Neutralize! Letting grave names echo! A little ambiance.
not yet to worry. We still have 134 original, so we can go condense that really quick. And then we will put stuff into the strong box once all the runs are done. Look forward to tomorrow when we will have part 2 of the ranking all the Genshin Impact trailers with Phoenix. It is hopefully going to be tomorrow and should be posted either midday or later in the night.
Extract! Time to shine! Wrath from the sky! Incinerate!
Not quite sure how that was blocking me when I was above it, but alright. We'll take it, I suppose.
Reconstitute! Hear the echoes of the valley! Strike! Pyroclastic surge! Extract! Let my name echo in song! Yoo-hoo! Rise with the sun! Incinerate! Light of the blazing sun!
Last attempt. Doesn't look like we're getting anything here. So how's everybody excited for the next update? I feel like this one just got started, but already we're heading back over to Inazuma. I aim to have a reaction on this trailer and on the live stream in general up in the next couple of days. I've seen a couple of things already, thanks to a bunch of YouTubers who, if you know what I'm talking about, you know. The reason we're doing Shimenawa is I need these pieces for my Kaching. That's not great, but I'm sure there's someone that could use that if it rolls into double crit. Nothing really great here. And the final shot. Zip Zilch Nada. What are you doing up here? Oh, is there a filter in place? There must be. Yes, there is. Okay. I was wondering what that was doing there. And now we can salvage all these and try to level up what we can level. Alright, so I was working on this. That's not really gone anywhere, so we're going to stop that. And give this a shot in the sun. Can we get it to 20? Can. Middling, but potentially usable. Then off beast for somebody.
Full throttle! Add Astra.
Welcome
Thank you
to
for
the
completing
Adventurers
today's
Guild. Alright. In the event that I make this run into a video, artifacts weren't great, certainly not to the caliber of the thumbnail, but we did try, as Margaret pushes me out of the way.
Star Snatched Cliff is known for its views.
I hope that everyone enjoyed it, and
Instead of
I will
confining
talk to you
themselves to the
guys
heavens,
later.
God should broaden their horizons in the world below.
Alrighty. So what else are we doing today? Lantern Rise in full swing. First, let's head over to Leeway and grab our 1,000 Shao Lanterns. Want to try your luck betting on Jade? No.
Try something new at the One Bean Restaurant.
Well, let's see. Suppose we could try some more account reviews and see how the first of those videos is doing. We can give this next one a shot. In order to do that, switch really quickly. The title thumbnail. Updates the stream. we are live once again. Hello everybody on YouTube, as this will likely be turned into a VOD if we get enough people. I am Blaze from Blazing Flame Studios, and continuing yesterday's adventure, we will once again be doing random co-op account reviews. And so, first I shall kill my party in the event that I randomly get thrown into combat. Hello, hello, new viewer. We are doing account reviews. We're going to be switching between randoms in the open world. And we are going to be doing those who want their account reviewed. If you are in the chat and would like your account reviewed, feel free to put your UID into the chat. And I can only do NA right now, since I'm in the game. But if you are NA and would like your account reviewed, I will be more than happy to do so. There's no charge or anything like that. Just doing it to help the community and provide me with a bit of content. Alright. As we finish healing up characters here, we'll hop into co-op and see who our first finder will be. An AR-59 here. AR-60. Another AR-60. We will try Quokka, and then potentially... Oh, we got Quokka. Hello, Quokka. Oh, Kamisato Ayato.
I've got a bunch of interesting gadgets, all from my time with the Crux.
Many
I have a
ladies in
feeling
the
that this
Portafontaine
person
like to spray
may be
perfume
in
onto
a
a delicate
cutscene.
waistband. Oh,
Hush for the moment, anyway. Would not surprise me. There is something going on during the event at this very stand, considering that there have typically been events here in the past. Nice to see the kites back from last Lantern Night. We have the lanterns back from Lantern Night 1. I will say, how are people liking New Float? I'm not 100% sold on it compared to the designs of the previous ones, but it still looks nice. We should give this a couple more minutes. Also, the Blackcliff Sword.
I'm sure I've forgotten something. Not to worry, I'll simply send someone to fetch it. As soon as I remember what it was.
I've got a bunch of interesting gadgets, all from my time with the Crux.
And away we go. Hello, new viewer. We're doing account reviews, kind of switching between random co-op, and if you want your account reviewed, you can put it in the chat, the UID, and I will look it up and review it. No need for channel points or anything like that. I don't think I have those set up yet. This is only about my 6th stream on this account, on this channel. So, everything's still a bit up and new. But, if you would like it, they are available. And we are going to see who else we can find. An immediate customer. Jellyfish. You're not Nouvellette. Hello. Would a Nouvellette like his account reviewed by Farina? Also, this is where we are. Characters would you like me to look at? Nouvellette, Arlecchino, and Farina. A Fontaine and Joya. Ah. The level 2 Tainari and the level 3 Dia. We salute you, fallen comrades. Let's make sure if Lise is going to be joining. Alright. We'll go ahead and get started. The VOD will be here, Lise. And hello, Lise, if you do end up watching. Let's take a look at Nouvellette. 38,750 attack, 1,206 attack, and defensive 576, EM 79. We're looking like crit rate, crit damage. 45 over 319.6. Tome of the Eternal Flow. Tome of the Eternal Flow at Refinement Rank 1. Makes sense. Makes sense. Obviously, no improvements I can recommend here. Artifacts. 4-piece Marechaussee Hunter. So we're going to effectively be looking at this crit rate as if it is increased by 36. So that would put it to, 81, give or take. So crit rate looks fine. Looks great. 3.5 or 25.6, great. And you rolled into the one bad roll you had was into HP, which he does care about. 5.11, flat HP is not horrible because it scales with this. Crit rate, crit damage, a little bit of flat HP. It's not bad at all. And crit rate, crit damage, some ER. Of the pieces, I would say that one, oh my goodness, what a piece. Of the pieces, I would say this is your weakest, but, it's incredibly good. Constellation is C0, of course. And 10-8-8. Normal attack is generally what you want to fully level. I would recommend getting these to 10 at some point, just to overall maximize the damage you can do. But overall, this is I would say a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing that could be really improved is just getting these talents up there. But I understand how stringent and hard to get crowns are these days, and the amount of time it takes to actually get them there. Looking at Arlecchino. 1,970 attack, 937 defense, 98 EM, almost breaking 100. 88 over 172. We have pyro damage bonus. We do not, so I'm guessing an attack percent goblet. Gonna guess her weapon? No, white tassel. Alright. So that's a bit of a stat stick. 4-piece fragment of harmonic whimsy. Alright. 24.1% crit damage, 31% crit rate, of course. 7 and 17, very nice. 15 and 7, a little bit of HP hurts a bit, but overall looks great. Crit rate, crit damage, and what does the goblet look like? Okay, it is an attack percent goblet. Let's see here, 13.2% crit damage, and we got 10%, 10.9%, so effectively 11% crit rate. Ah, hello, hello. So I'll judge this particular build as if she has Arlecchino's weapon. So with Arlecchino's weapon, I mean, do I have any suggestions here? Let's see. Let me pull up my tips and tricks that I have for Arlecchino. I have a full guide on my channel's Discord if you ever want to see the kind of things I'm recommending. Let's see here. Looking at Arlecchino, Fragment of Harmonic Whimsy, 4-piece, of course. I give this a 9.9. I think the only thing that could be potentially improved is the goblet is nice. Have you tried a pyro damage bonus goblet? Generally, it is recommended to kind of grab that. She doesn't care too much about attack. In fact, in terms of substats, attack percent is her third most. But if you've done testing with it and attack percent does more damage than your pyro damage bonus, then I see no reason to improve. Okay, in that case, looks great. And that will leave us with Farina. Now, I am a top 1% C6 Farina main, so I will be looking at this through many different eyes. All of them being the wrong one, which is why I have a guide. 1,203 attack, 862 defense, 105 EM, 36,795 HP, almost topping up on Nouvelette at base, 61 over 190. Do we have the Splendor of Tranquil Waters? No, we have the Fleuve Cendre Candyman. I know I've butchered that. Don't judge me. Increases elemental skill crit rate by 16%. Additionally, increases ER after using skill. Okay. Good for her. 4-piece Golden Troop. Makes sense. What are these rolls? These are insane. Honestly, this generally looks great. The one piece I could say probably could use some improvement is this. That 18% defense hurts to look at. I was wondering why her defense was slightly higher. But overall, let's see here. Constellation C0, 21010. Actually forgot to look here. Yeah, same as Nouvelette for Arlecchino. I'd recommend kind of getting this up to 10. But again, it's just getting crowns is so annoying these days. These, yeah, normal attack, you really don't need to level up. These are both crowns, so you're getting your maximum amount of damage. Would I be correct in the assumption that you probably use either Farina and Arlecchino or Nouvelette and Farina in the same team? Reason I suggest that is that you do have a bit of EM in Arlecchino, and you also have, you know, some EM on both of these. I thought so, because I can notice the little bit of EM, which is good for the vaporized teams. In terms of Farina recommendations, I'm gonna guess you don't have it, because it is a very old thing. Do you have Festering Desire? Arlecchino was Singcho. Makes sense. Do you have Festering Desire, the 1.2 weapon from the Dragon Spine event? Gotcha, gotcha. Let's see. Yeah, then you're running the best in slot of these. You could also try with Favonius Sword, but the value of that kind of fluctuates based on her ER requirements and, you know, the team's general ER requirements. So I think you're better off with the Fluve. While I'm here, is there anybody else you'd like me to check? Alrighty. Well, hopefully this was helpful to an extent. Overall, these look great. I imagine they do a ton of damage. And thanks for letting me give your account the review. I'll let you get back to exploring here in Capitolium. Arlecchino C1 is quite nice. I have Arlecchino myself. I've just always been on that. I'm never been a huge fan of Arlecchino's playstyle, so I haven't played her as much. I've been a Farina main ever since I got her. Mavika as well. So, Imaginarium Theater has been getting carried recently. But have a good day, and happy Lantern Night. Hello, hello, new viewer. Happy Lantern Night. We are doing account reviews, completely random. If you'd like your account reviewed, feel free to put your UID in the chat, and I'll give it a quick review. As we move on, we'll be right back. So I reframe because my chat function is cutting off what everybody's saying, which is not helpful in the slightest. There we go. Now I can see everything. Cool. Alright, let's see here. Well, we had a ton of Mavikas recently, so let's see if we can grab another one. We got a Farina main. Darn. Let's see here. we try again. Geo. Got a C5 child. Could be interesting to look at. Can't join a Wars World. Might have been funny. Baiju's #1 fan. Maybe we can look at a Baiju. Potential Yai Miko. Not to worry to the viewers of the VOD, this will be edited so that we go straight from one review to the other. Try the Navia. Perhaps Rex Lapis, in his retirement, might let us review his build. Try these. One of the struggles of random co-op getting declined. Try the Chevres. Remine. Aha! We have our next potential customer. Hello, hello. Hello. My YouTube channel is doing account reviews. Would you be interested? I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not interested, considering the current location. But you never know. Well, never mind. Cool. What characters would you like me to look at? Because I accidentally hit caps lock twice.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Utao or Navia? I could do both. We're not pressed for time here.
Boring. Isn't there anything else more
Let's
interesting
pull up
to do?
the account. We are looking at Hutao or Navia. Well, Navia is first here, so why don't we look at Navia? And what do we have here? We have 20,276 HP, 2,321 attack, 874 defense, 75 elemental mastery, which makes sense for her to have a little bit since she cares about crystallize, And crit rate, crit damage, 65 over 152 with 120% ER. And 46.6% geo damage, so we are running that. Verdict, level 90. No improvements to be recommended here. Artifacts.
Being too popular can be
Nighttime
such
whispers
a
in the
hassle.
echoing woods.
Who knew the people
So
would
this is the
adore
off
me
piece.
so much?
It's alright, it's alright. I would recommend maybe trying to farm, since it's not... I do not believe it's the on piece for this set. Trying to try for another Geo Damage Goblet, just because a lot of this rolled into ER and flat attack. In fact, I don't think
Many
crit damage
insects
got
have a
rolled
compulsion
into
to
at
follow
all.
the light, and humans are the same. Except we call that light hope.
And I call that disrupting this account review, Mavika. But here we are.
Boring. Isn't there
Looking at
anything
this,
else more interesting to do?
This is fine. It rolled a lot into HP percent, but again, your stats are overall pretty good.
Instead of confining
I would
themselves to the
recommend
heavens,
leveling
God
this
should
up
broaden their
to
horizons in the
plus
world
20,
below.
so getting a 5-star copy. Your stats aren't... You've rolled, I think, once, maybe twice into crit damage at minimum roll. At the very least, getting a 5-star copy of this, even if the substats aren't great, or even if it only has, like, crit damage at one roll, is still going to give you that extra almost 12% of attack. So it's just better overall. Looking at this looks very nice. And there could be some crit rate here. I think the biggest thing you're probably missing on these artifacts is the crit rate bonuses. Since there's no crit rate here, you've got 3.5 here, so Flower's fine. Your main stat here, of course, is crit rate. And then you're kind of just... These other artifacts just didn't roll super great, which I completely understand that. And what are we looking at? Talents. 8, 10, 9, you've got the talents down to a pat. Hello, hello, new viewer. We are currently looking at Amy's Navia. So yeah, my main recommendation here, and I believe the stats sort of reflect... There is a world, I believe, where if you were able to get some crit rate substats on these rolls, because you're missing...
Being too popular can be such a
crit rate.
hassle.
You're missing crit rate on
Who
at least
knew
2
the people
pieces.
would
There is a
adore me so much?
potential world where you could get, say, 10% on 2 pieces, which I think is... I've seen rolls where you get that with 2 crit rate rolls. That puts this up to 80. Then you could swap out your crit rate helmet for a crit damage helmet if it rolled crit rate in that as well. And then you could go, 60% crit rate, but then you'd have over 200% crit damage. Just by kind of figuring out those stats. I don't know how much you use Navia. Maybe not a priority. But again, this is just kind of here to provide some potential tips and tricks. Everything else, though, you've got the right talents leveled up. Your weapon is obviously the best in slot.
I'd be happy to teach you.
So we'll look over at Hu Tao. Appropriate for Lantern, right? 1,221 attack, 35,579 HP, 876 defense, 91 EM, 30 over 272. Low crit rate, but I'm guessing we have a way to work with that. Okay, Cinnabar Spindle. Looking at C0, 10, 10, 9. Okay, no way to buff crit rate internally. Potentially you have an external use of getting crit rate up, like Rosaria. Let's take a look at pieces. Alright. This looks very nice. This looks very nice as well. Didn't roll into the crit rate very much, but what you do have is a lot of HP, which she scales off of. This is fine as well. The HP is not the greatest since it's not HP percent, but it's still HP, which she does scale off.
Anything else more interesting
Your
to do?
the biggest thing's holding you back. This is nice. It's a shame you don't have crit rate. And then this rolled all into attack percent, which stinks. I don't actually know. Let me double check my notes here. If we're still in the world where... Okay, Crimson Witch is still best in slot. If you have good Shimenawa's Reminiscence pieces, that's the artifact domain from the main part of Inazuma. it is on par with um, Crimson Witch of Flames. I also happen to know that farming Crimson Witch of Flames is an absolute
Being too
nightmare
popular can be such a hassle.
because of Lava Walker.
Who knew the people would adore me so much?
But yeah, otherwise, I'd recommend trying to get better pieces for the sands and for the feather. Because your problem right now with this build is just
Boring.
you're critting a ton,
Isn't there anything
but you're not
else
critting
more
very
interesting
much.
Many
to do?
insects have a
Your
compulsion
other
to follow
option
the
would
light.
be to
And
try to
humans
find
are
a
the same.
replacement piece, get a crit rate.
Except we call that light
You'd
hope.
lose 60% crit damage, obviously, but you're still well over 200. And then you'd go up to like 64%, give or take, crit rate. So you'd be critting more often. You'd be critting less when you do crit, but critting more often overall, which will make up that damage. And as I hop out here to check the chat, Amy, if you're in the YouTube chat or if you are watching in the
Instead of confining themselves to the
YouTube
heavens,
itself,
God should
is there
broaden
anyone
the
else you would
horizons
like
of the
me
world below.
to look at besides Hutao and Navia? Also type it out here. Hopefully it was helpful. Thanks for coming into the stream. Anybody else you'd like me to look at while I'm here? Out of curiosity, Amy, do you use the Akasha? Not the in-game Akasha, the website? Thank you, G-Force.
Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette,
So
I'd be
the
happy to teach
Akasha it's called Akasha CV, and it is a website that takes every user's publicly displayed builds, and it will rank them based on everyone else's builds and can kind of show you, oh, which artifacts are not the greatest, which artifacts are incredible. It'll rank your artifacts by their crit value. Crit value is 2 times your crit rate plus your crit damage. So it's it can help you because it'll, for example, on that website, I have a top 1% of the users in the world, Farina, Ganyu, and yeah. So if you're looking for help with builds and stuff like that, or just like a template to try to follow to increase your damage overall, Akasha is quite helpful. But I will really quickly take a look at that Yoimiya, since I am here. Alright. 2,149 attack, 666 defense, 79 EM, 49.5% crit rate, 236% crit damage. Weapons we're looking at Refinement Rank 1, Thundering Pulse, so her best in slot. I believe is still her best in slot. Yes. Good to know that hasn't been power prepped yet. 4-piece Shimenawa, so her best in slot set as well. Let's see here. 3.521, 40 EM, HP. This is fine. This is also fine. She cares a little bit about having enough ER.
Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
And let's see here. C0, 10, 10, 8. Alright, so my best recommendation for increasing the damage of this build either you could try to find a better attack percent piece on Shimenawa. That you're getting 9% crit rate out of that. It's a shame that it rolled so much into the HP, and I think it rolled maybe once into flat defense. Alternatively, you could try to get crit rate on the goblet, since this is your off piece anyway. It's probably going to be easier to get than a good on piece Morning Dew. Because you're just under 50%. Ideally, you want to be somewhere in the 60% range. That's not 100% possible.
And humans are the same.
Alternatively, you could... What kind of team do you run her with? If I may ask. Is it just a mono pyro, or do you rely on reactions?
Instead of confining themselves to the heavens, God should broaden their horizons in the world below. Exploration and trials. Adventuring is right up my alley.
Okay, so you're using her on a basic vaporized team. So yeah, you should be getting pretty good amount of damage off of that.
Many insects have a compulsion to follow
So
the light.
my biggest recommendation would probably just be trying to get a little bit more crit rate somewhere. You can try with a crit rate hat. You obviously would go down to about 200% crit damage, but you would go up to about 60% crit rate again. Or sorry, you go up to about 33% crit rate. You were at 49, I think. So that would put you at 80? Yeah, that put you at 80% crit rate, which is a bit excessive. But just trying to get it up to even 50, or finding some way to get external crit rate application. Rosaria can do that. There are a couple others I can't think of. Happy to help. Feel free to add me if you ever need help farming artifacts and I'm online, not doing a video. Or if I'm doing a video where I'm helping people in co-op, I will be happy to help. And thank you for letting us review the account, and hope you enjoyed the stream.
Broaden their horizons in the world below.
Happy Lantern, right? And off we go. On to the next customer. For a minute, it was taking me a second to figure out what this was, and then I realized it was siege wounds. I see a Ningguang. You know what? Sure. Will a VTuber let a VTuber rate their account? No. But we tried, and that's what matters. Another potential new Valette. Got a seat Lolly here. Co-op game is loading. I believe this is Aurora who has let us in. It is. Hello.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste.
I don't think I've been here
In
in
Inazuma,
that
the
one yet.
water possesses a depth of flavor unlike.
Need to see if there's a
Melusines
follow-up
are
to
beautiful
this
creatures. They are the pride
before
of
I
Fontaine.
type again.
Be sure to befriend them and cause them no harm.
Where is... Are there any characters in particular?
Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
I see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of Fontaine. I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
Alright. 3 level 8 characters. Let's take a look. Ah. This... We do have this problem. It looks like your character showcase... I'll say from experience yesterday, usually when people have to add stuff, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to actually register as being changed. So what'll probably end up happening is that I will leave this world, go do another review, and then hop back and finish this review in about 5 to 10 minutes. At least that's from what I've seen and experienced in the past.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would
To
adore
all of
me so
the viewers in
much?
this minute of repose, you could take the time if you're enjoying the stream. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff helps the channel grow. All the normal YouTube things. Alright, they have been added, but can I see them? No. Alright, so very quickly. Usually takes about 15 minutes for Genshin to update them at their edition.
Melusines are beautiful creatures. They are the pride of Fontaine. Be sure to befriend them and cause them no harm.
Boring. Isn't there anything else interesting to do? Huh?
All right. I will return in about 15 minutes. Right. Let's see if we can get another customer. Game's loading. Where shall we be? We are in Liyue. Hello. Xingqiu, weren't you just in front of me? You know, I could have these copy pasted, I suppose. Just copy paste them in.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Now, this is what I call a moment of solitude.
Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Wow. Huh? All will be revealed in the next volume? Oh, drat.
Lantern Rising Show. Get out. Live life. Actually check if who has character showcase up. Cool. And their public information. Let's go.
Boring! Isn't
Xingqiu
there
and
anything
Dong
else
Li are
more interesting to do?
Join the Adventurers Guild.
I never embark on a journey without a good book to accompany me.
The key here is consumer psychology.
Thank you so very much, lady.
holding off for just a moment. Hi, Hotel. Alright. Watch live. Blazing Flame Studios.
Join the Adventurers Guild. You'll have a blast.
Wait to get a response before I say anything or start moving on to the account review. No worries, no worries.
Consumer psychology.
Alright.
Thank you.
I will get out of the way of you, Ching, from the Millilith. And let's take a look at these two builds. We'll start off with Xingqiu. Xingqiu is the one currently out and about. 1,646 attack, 834 defense, 16 EM, 21,676 HP, 34 over 150, 205% ER, and a 20% hydro damage bonus. I'm assuming that's
It was on
maybe
a
coming from
deserted
some kind
moonlit
of
night
artifact.
that the hero approached the vile
Sacrificial
dragon's limpid lair.
Sword, Refinery rank 5. I believe still one of his best in slots to this day. As I check my Xingqiu notes. So, if you have it, I would recommend either trying Favonius Sword or the Fluve Cinder Ferryman, which I believe is one of the craftable Fontaine. There's a craftable Fontaine Sword. Now, Favonius Sword, the energy it provides to teammates is a useful support option if you're looking simply for just support. In general, since you're just using him for support. Sacrificial at R3+.
Oh my goodness.
It
Oh my
does.
gosh.
It's still
Wow.
incredibly inconsistent in that it
All will
extends
be revealed in
your.
the next
What is the exact
volume?
wording that I'm looking for here? It extends
Right.
rotation length. So, because this only occurs once every 16 seconds, you're still getting less overall energy in terms of support. So, while this is good, it is recommended that you maybe want to try the Fluve Cinder Ferryman or the Favonius Sword. Other options you could consider, there are 5-star options like Primordial Jade Cutter, Mist Splitter, Haranjapad Futsu, Light of Foliar Incision, Skyward Blade even. These are all for off-field DPS, which he is kind of that support off-field DPS role. Also, hello, Aku. Welcome to the chat. But yes, I would recommend, if at the very least, testing either Favonius Sword or the Fluve Cinder Ferryman.
Now,
One is
this what I call
craftable,
a
the other one
moment
is from
of
Wishes, so
solitude.
if you don't have the one from Wishes, then Fluve Cinder Ferryman is always something you can try. Looking at artifacts. HP % Goblet, makes sense. You are running 4-piece Emblem, which is the best in slot set. Let's see, what's the Sands? I would recommend getting an Energy Recharge main Sands. Just because it makes the requirements a little easier. You can run attack %.
Dragon's limpid lair.
ER needs... Let's see, what's his ER currently looking like? An ER Sands would be very helpful, I think. Even if you're not going to swap off of Sacrificial Sword, or even with the new options I've presented. Just because you'll get more energy orbs, more particles. C6, of course. Beside that...
If my calculations are correct, Wanwen
Hydro
Bookhouse
Damage
is
Goblet,
due to receive a batch
I'd
of
recommend
new
as well.
releases today. Might we
And
add a
then
small
I think your
detour
circlet
to our
is... Yeah.
adventure?
The substats aren't great, but it's a good circlet. This is just for overall damage increase and better support capabilities. I would say Hydro Damage Goblet, ER Sands, Sacrificial Sword is fine. Didn't check the stats when I went to see what I was using. I usually use Recharge, Hydro, Crit Rate, Crit Damage, but I think I changed this with Yelan's. Okay. In that case, can't see those artifacts, but going off of that information, my only real recommendation then would be... This is already Crown. Yeah, my only real recommendation would be to maybe try Favonius Sword or the Fluve Cinder Ferryman.
Exploration and trials.
Moving on to Zhongli. I'm
Adventuring
guessing
is
just
right
an
up
HP
my
stat
alley.
stick with Black Tassel. Let's find out. 40,095 HP. that is attributing to my guess. 1,336 attack, 843 defense, 159 EM. Interesting. It's a lot of EM. And 240 stamina, like everybody else. Let's see here. Are we going for more of a burst support or a shield support for Zhongli? Ah, Staff of Homa. I'm guessing with Staff of Homa, we're going for more of a burst support than a shield support. Next, we got 4-piece tenacity. Let's take a look here. Well, this is more of a shield. This is more of a shield support. Alright, so if you're going for shield support,
Wow. Huh?
my
All will be
best
revealed in the
recommendation if you
next
want shield support
volume?
is honestly
Rat.
Black Tassel. The 3-star weapon that increases your HP. Because if you're doing shield only, you just want the HP stat stick, and it increases his HP much more. If you want to use Homa on him, it is his best in slot for a burst support. However, his best artifact set for that role is actually Emblem of Severed Fate. Or you could go 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Archaic Petra.
'Twas on a deserted moonlit night that the hero approached the vile dragon's limpid lair.
Archaic Petra is fine. Stat-wise, everything looks alright, I suppose. Shame that some of these don't have crit damage. Also, I can see from the HP stacking, you're trying to use him more as a shield. And he cares a lot less about his substats if you're just going for an HP stick. So my honestly biggest recommendation, it would take the least amount of time and would just maximize his use a lot better.
I never
Save
embark on a
Homa for
journey
someone
without a good
else,
book to accompany me.
and just put Black Tassel on him. It increases your HP by, I think, another 24 something %. It just makes the shield overall stronger. And then you've already got... I'd recommend as well, may as well, put him up to level 10 on this, since you do get the shield from that anyway, so it'll work either way. So this just increases shield strength and lets you have it a little more often. But overall, builds look pretty good. Any questions for me, Paco? I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. You can. It takes about 15 minutes for Genshin to update that. So I would have to come back in about 15 minutes. But that is up to you. I've currently got someone who I'm going to be returning to in a moment because they had a similar thing come up. So once I'm done with them, I can come back if you want to go through that, or otherwise we can end it here.
If my calculations are correct, Wanwen Bookhouse is due to receive a batch of new releases today. Might we add a small detour to our adventure?
The key here is consumer
All right.
psychology.
I shall return. And now let us head back to, I believe it was Aurora, and see if the builds have been updated there yet. that. And yes, let's see here. No, the character details are hidden. It'll take another 15 minutes for that to work. Alright, Aurora, I'm coming back to tell you. We were so
Instead of
close.
confining themselves to the heavens, God should broaden their horizons in the world below.
The game is really saying no. Not today. I believe it's going to be the same thing if it'll take it about 15 minutes. But we'll try. Yep. That looks like a boss arena. Okay. I shall return once again. I will quickly check, because why not? See if yours has updated Haku. Oh, it looks like it already has. Because Aurora's updated. Oh, it has. Alright, so I'm gonna finish Aurora's. Guess you just have to leave the world. And then I'll come back to you, Haku. What characters would you like me to look at?
Exploration and trials. Adventuring is right up my alley. Rev the engines!
Troublemaker?
Wrath from the sky!
Settle down!
The show begins!
Kazuha, Nuvalet, Kuki Shinobu, and Bennett. Alright.
I see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all the
Kazuha,
endeavors of
Nuvalet,
the people
Kuki, and
of
Bennett.
Valhalla.
Let's take a
I will
look. Starting off
continue to
with...
take pride
Oh, so it's everybody on the
in
top
my
row. Cool.
duties.
Let's start out with Kazuha. Immediately, I am noticing Kazuha has a very low amount of EM compared to what he probably should have. So let's see what's going on here. 851 over 864, 189 EM, 13 over 65, 15,000 HP. Skyward Blade, which is his third best in slot, tying with about 6 other weapons. The artifacts. So I'm noticing that most of these are plus
Being too
0.
popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
And that most of the M is coming from this. Constellation. Down level 655. What level is he? Okay. My main recommendation here. If you have it, swap your weapon to Vivonia's sword. You will get a lot more energy recharge, and it will give you more elemental particles. This is more so for dealing damage directly,
Boring.
which is not really super helpful.
Anything else more interesting to do?
5-star artifacts. Try to get EM as the main stats for your sands, for your goblet, and for your hat. That will increase your EM by 187 per one that you get. So that would put it to about, let's just round up to 200, around 600, but more around 500 something, I believe, off the top of my head. And then you can get, this has 65 on it, so you're welcome to keep that. You could try leveling this up as an off-piece if you so desired. Viridis Inventor is his best in slot artifact set, 4-piece. But the ultimate goal for him is to try to stack as much EM while getting enough ER for a consistent burst up time. So just finding that balance is going to be what you need here. Nouvelette, level 80. Okay. Prototype Amber. If you have Sacrificial Jade, that would work. Or Surf's Up, but I don't think you would. That's a 5-star weapon. And also it was on Mualani, so it's not super great. So if you have Sacrificial Jade, that is a better slot weapon. Otherwise, Prototype Amber is fine. Very crit damage, 34 over 103. C1. 755. Leveling up talents. At the very least, leveling up his normal attack is going to be helpful to you in the future. Looking at artifacts. That's a lot of defense. Oof. Looking at this, I'd recommend going for 4-piece Marashose Hunter from Fontaine's domain. Sand, you'd like HP %. Goblet, you can also do HP %, or you can do Hydro damage, whichever you prefer. And then Circlet, crit rate, crit damage, HP, your choice.
Tea parties are
Leveling
a
up
must
talents
for
is
the
recommended
well-mannered.
as always,
If you'd like to learn
and
the
not much else I
proper
can say
etiquette, I'd be
here.
happy to teach you.
Kuki Shinobu, 728, 753, 498 Elemental Mastery, 8.1 over 50. And pulling up my tips for Kuki Shinobu. Weapons, we have Iron Sting. So this looks like it is a Hyper Bloom. If I had a yes. Stacking as much EM as possible. Yeah, Iron Sting is 3rd best in slot alongside Ziphos's Moonlight, but that's a weapon banner exclusive. C2, leveling talents, of course. About all I can recommend here. If you're looking for a set, Flower of Paradise Lost is your best in slot. Similar to earlier recommendation, EM Sands, EM Goblet, EM Circlet, similar to Kazuha.
Being too popular can be such a hassle.
And you
Who
should
knew that
aim
people
for
would
around
adore me so
850
much?
to 950 EM. And that is with or without the weapon being an EM weapon, which you are currently running EM. Bennett. 11 over 55, 200% ER.
Ow!
Running Sacrificial Sword. If you have Iron Sting at high refinement, that can be very good. The Skyward Blade that you have on Kazuha is also very good for him. If you're going for DPS, but I'm guessing this is more of a support, in which case... Skyward Blade is actually better still than Sacrificial Sword. So I would recommend swapping over that Skyward Blade that Kazuha has and giving it to Bennett. Artifacts. For full support, you just want energy recharge on the sands, or you can just stack HP, which I'm gonna guess maybe is happening a bit here. HP stack, HP stack. So yeah, for this, I just recommend stacking HP. C5. 477, level talents when you can. And that's about all the help I can give. A lot of the artifacts are really low leveled, so I can't give too much in the way of tips and tricks. Hope this was helpful. Hako, are you ready for me to return? If you are still in the chat. Blazing Flames Studio. Happy Lantern right to you.
Boring. Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
And off I go. Alright, returning to Haku's world to check out some additional characters. Who am I looking at, Haku, on this new list? I can also do it from here, since you're in the chat. Am I looking at all of these? Welcome, welcome, new viewer. Happy Lantern, right? We are currently looking at Haku's builds. We had just done Aurora's. If you'd like your account looked at, feel free to put your UID in the chat. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to look at Kanish. 1,747 attack, 1,130 defense, 68 EM, 66 over 229. Those stats make me think proficiency weapon? No, Wolf, Red Horn. The Fluve is the shortest way to say it. Fluve Sended Ferryman, I believe, is the exact wording of it. Alright, so Redhorn Stone Thresher, that is his 5th best in slot. If you happen to have Serpent Spine, that is actually considered a better weapon for him. But it does perform... It is worse without a shielder. So if you pair him with a shielder, I recommend using Serpent Spine if you have it. Without a shield, Red Horn is fine. With the artifacts, 4-piece Obsidian Codex. I believe that's his best in slot currently. It is. I'll try not to be super critical on the goblets. This looks fine. This looks very nice. This looks very nice. And, you know, a little bit of EM there is fine. You do have increased crit rate by 40% when that triggers, so that puts you to 100. I would say there might be a world where you swap this, or at least test it by swapping to a crit damage one, since you are getting a 40% increase for this. With that being the case, that would put you up to 60% crit damage increase. You'd lose 30% crit rate. You'd go to 36. With the 40% increase, that's 76. And you'd be up to about 290% crit damage. So, potentially worth testing. But otherwise, the build looks fine. I'm going to look at Zhongli again, because you said the artifacts are different. 1,370, 37,000, 940 defense, 96 EM. Weapon, still Staff of Homa. Artifacts, 2-piece Archaic, 2-piece Emblem. This is looking more like a burst support. Gotcha. Alright. 44 over 199. So this is looking more like it is a burst support now. So Staff of Homa makes sense. I'd recommend...
Osmanthus.
No, you don't. I'd recommend trying, if you're gonna do the 2-piece, I'd recommend getting rid of Emblem for Noblesse. Or if you want to commit to 4-piece Emblem, or commit to Emblem, I'd recommend going 4-piece Emblem, because that increases the damage of his burst. Which I think this build, this new variation of the build, is trying to do. And then if you are going to be doing the burst support, definitely recommend getting that Planet Befall up to 10. You fixed up Singcho a little bit, and I've told you the sword you were looking for that, so I'll hop over to Nouvelette. Nouvelette, 34,338 HP, 1,289 attack, 788 defense, 0 EM, 69 over 215. Doesn't feel like a Tome of the Eternal Flow? No, it is Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds, refinement rank 1, full. Good, he is an on-field DPS, so he's one of the few actual characters that can use this fairly reliably. Let's see here. Artifacts, 4-piece Marshose Hunter. Of course, understandable. Crate rolls here. Shame there's no crit rate here, but you're probably fine on crit rate because you're running Marshose. Looks nice. Looks fine. What is the crit rate looking like? Kind of in a similar notion to what I mentioned earlier with Obsidian. You probably don't need this much crit rate. And could go for a crit... Oh no, you're already running a crit damage. Oh right, because you're running Lost Prayer. For DPS, if you have... and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it is... you're losing a 5-star weapon for this. Or not losing, but not using it. Prototype Amber and the Widsith are considered better options for Nouvelette. The main reason for that being, this requires you to be on the field 90% of the time. The moment you swap off of Nouvelette, all of that buff goes away. Widsith and Amber, Widsith, you get buffs for entering the field, which enables more of a quick swap, and Amber's just overall decent in general. Otherwise, the build looks fine. And then talent-wise, you've crowned the talent that matters the most. So that looks pretty good there. Alright, swapping over to Farina. 34,354 HP, 1,243 attack, 1,055 defense, 72 over 147. So it's not Splendor. Can I guess what this is before I click? Jade Cutter? Oh no, Fluve. Hey look, it's the thing I was talking about. Fluve Sender Ferryman. Currently on Farina. This is her 4th best in slot, tied with Favonius Sword. Let's see here. If you have... How long have you been playing, Haku? If you happen to have Festering Desire, which was the 1.2 event weapon, then I'd recommend trying that on her. That is her actual... That's her 3rd best in slot compared to Fluve, which is 4th best in slot. And if you do have Festering Desire, that means you could move this level 90 R5 Fluve over to Xingqiu. Hello, hello, new viewer. Welcome to Lantern Right. We are currently doing account reviews. If you'd like your account reviewed, feel free to put it in the chat. Do you happen to have... That might be right around the time that it wouldn't work out. Do you have Festering Desire? Also, I apologize. There is a bit of a delay, so when people are actually chatting, I can't tell exactly what they're responding to. Gotcha. You could try her with Favonius Sword if you want to move. If you have Favonius Sword, if you want to move the Fluve Sender Ferryman over to Xingqiu. Otherwise, it is technically her 4th best in slot weapon. So, take that information as you will. Looking at Constellation, C1, very good Constellation. You have 4-piece Golden Troop. A lot of crit damage. Crit rate, crit damage. Crit rate, crit damage. Very nice feather. Rip the 16% defense. Very nice. What are the stats looking like? 72 over 147, right? Alright. Moving over to Arlecchino. 20,156 HP, 2,358 attack, 827 defense, 16 EM. 91 over 177. That is a lot of crit rate. And we have Crimson Moon's Semblance, so best in slot weapon. Nothing to complain about here. 4-piece Fragment of Harmonic Whimsy. That is her best in slot. Pyro damage, Goblet. Shame there's no crit damage here. Could be improved, I would say. My goodness, that's a good flower. That's a nice off-piece. Very nice there. How's the feather? Feather's fine. Flower's great. Constellation 0. 10, 9, 8. Honestly, this looks really good. You could try with a crit damage goblet. Or not crit damage goblet, but crit damage circlet. That puts you down to about 60, but if you get decent rolls on it, you could be up at 70. Worth a shot, I'd say, if you're trying to maximize damage. And then Mualani. 1141 attack, 702 defense, 96 EM, 60 over 223. This could be Surset. Witsith. Final rank 5 Witsith. I believe that is one of her best free-to-play options, budget options. Sacrificial Jade, which is the Battle Pass weapon. And yeah, it's on par with the Ring of Yakshay, which I believe is either the Natlan craftable or the Sumer craftable. Not 100% sure off the top of my head. But this works just as well. C0, 4-piece Obsidian Codex. That is her best in slot. Crit rate, crit damage, a little bit of EM there. Crit rate, crit damage. Crit rate, crit damage. Is that 12%? Oh, more crit rate than crit damage. Nice. Crit rate here would have been nice, but it's fine. Crit rate, crit damage. And yeah. What was the 60, 223? And then let's look at talents. 198. Recommendation here. Honestly, this looks pretty good as well. Gotcha for the Arlecchino. With that, I think that's everybody reviewed. So that worked out pretty well. And I think we've got time for one more today. Hopefully that was helpful to you, Haku. Alright. What mode? Oh, this could be very interesting to look at. If Zero will let us in. Not to worry. It is Farina in front of the Spire of the Woods. Hello. My YouTube channel is doing account reviews. Would you be interested? Characters would you like me to look at? Let's see what is in the public profile. We got quite a few here. Xiao for sure. I'll make sure to start with Xiao then.
Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
Looks like we'll be looking at Shao here. I'll make sure there's no response that they're heading over. Alright. Looking at Shao. 2,100 attack, 878 defense, 79 elemental mastery, 71 over 168. These remind me of home. Oh, nope. White tassel. Okay. And then let's see here. Artifacts.
Being
We've
too
got
popular
no
can
set
be
bonus.
such a hassle.
Let's see what these stats are.
Who knew the people would adore me so much? Boring.
Righty.
Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
Constellation C0. What are we looking at talent-wise? 887. All right. So, for this build, your stats in general look great. 71 over 168 is a very respectable substat split for Shao. Now, if you have, and I'm going to just do a couple of 4-star options here. Deathmatch, which is the Battle Pass weapon. There's also the Blacklift Pole, which you can save up for from the shop. Lithic Spear, which was a weapon banner weapon. And then the Missive Wind Spear, and the Prospector's Drill, the Wavebreaker's Fin, some of which are Battle Pass, or not Battle Pass, some of which are weapon banners, some of which are craftables. White Tassel is nice as a crit rate stick, but it is effectively just a crit rate stick, since you're not really caring about Shao's normal attacks, since you're using his elemental skill to do the most of his damage and his elemental burst. So, best I could offer in terms of advice for the weapon, I would try for either Missive Wind Spear, Prospector's Drill, or Wavebreaker's Fin. Some of these were event weapons. I think
Tea
one of
parties
them
are
is
a
craftable.
must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy
Looking
to teach you.
at artifacts. Individually, their stats are great. However, if you want to increase your damage, I'd recommend going for 4-piece Marashose Hunter. It is, however, if you are building with Marashose Hunter in mind, it is preferable to have him with Bennett or Shen Yun in the team. Since I don't see Shen Yun up here, I'm going to also recommend the second best option, which is Vermilion Hereafter.
Being too popular can be such a hassle.
That domain is
Who
just
knew
always
the people would
generally
adore
good
me so much?
for Animo DPSs. And let me actually, I can go show exactly what that does. Both domain. Artifact. Figure out which one it is. No, you're Deepwood. Definitely passed it. Hold on. There we go. As you see, this set does scale off HP decreasing, which Shao does. Is a built-in mechanic, so it will increase his attack by 10%, up to 4 times. So a 40% attack increase, and you also just get a flat stat increase here. So I would recommend that, and then obviously leveling up the talents when you can. At the very least, I would recommend getting these to 10. The normal attack is alright, but it's... I mean, you've already got it to 8, so it's a good idea to keep it as it is.
I'd be happy to teach you.
I'd recommend getting skill to 10, getting burst to 10, then finishing off with skill. would be my recommendation for talent priority. And that is who you wanted me to look at. So, just finished. Happy Lantern, right? And good luck with Shao.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
And away we go. And alrighty, everybody. We got to look at 4 or 5, I believe, different accounts today, and I believe we looked at Hako's twice as things were updated. This video will be edited and uploaded as a video from the stream itself, if you want a more condensed version of it, or you missed any parts that you want to look back on. Thanks to everybody who has let us look at their accounts today. If you have anything you'd like to see from the channel, feel free to leave it in the comments. And until next time.